AVC YouTubers, welcome to my channel. Tony here, Tony's LPs Are Us. Today I'm going to mention 8 records that swing. They're jazz records. Some have vocals, some don't, but they swing. And I'm going to put them in order of appearance. They go from 1950 to 1967. So yeah, these albums, the last one's over 55 years old or so. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to talk about swing. What makes a record swing? Now, of course, when you start dancing to the beat, you start swinging back and forth like a swing. That's basically swing. But swing is that, that beat where the bass line carries it. You get like a 4/4 beat, and then the cymbals and the drums bring it into a 6/8 beat, and that tension between those grooves, give it that swing. It has to move. The piano comes in, it moves, the soloist gets his solo. And in these records, when the soloist gets his solo, everyone else sits back a bit. They give that person either a vocalist, or usually in this case, a soloist musician, whether it be the drums, the clarinet, the trumpet, the bass, what have you, even guitar. Most of these aren't guitar, but you get the idea, where they give that person that respect. That soloist gets his little place in the sun. So with that beat that basically counteracts each other, that rhythmic mesh, or syncopation, that gives you that swing movement, and that's a swing. I'm not a musician, so I can't explain it as a musician was, but if you think about the blues and you listen to swing the way I do, the soloists and the instruments do a call and response. You'll get a vocalist will do a little phrase, and then the piano player, be it Duke Ellington or Count Basie, comes in, or vice versa, or the trumpet will do a little, his little piece, and then the clarinet or the trombone will do his little piece. It's like a call and response, and that's basically swing. But of course, there's no swing if it doesn't move you, and it ain't got a thing if it don't have that swing, as we all know. Louis Armstrong once sang, and I actually have that record here. So we're going to start off with, now these are essential in my book. I've had most of these for years. This one I just picked up, and that got me onto this groove. I'm saying, oh, man, these records really groove. These records swing. These musicians are so good, and we use the phrase tight. They're so tight, and they have a chemistry, and they have that jazz sense. And so I'm going to go through 8 records or so. I believe there's 8 records, and these are in order of appearance. They're not in order of favorites. I will pick out some that I think sound the best. So here we go. The first one up is only volume 1. I also have the 2-volume set, and I believe I have an expanded set. And that's Benny Goodman, the famous 1938 Carnegie Hall Jazz Concert on Columbia Records. This is obviously mono. This was taken from the acetates of this concert. The concert took place, obviously, in 1938. It was at that time considered, and still is, one of the best and biggest jazz concerts of all time, because everybody was there. Everybody and his mother was there. In 1938, jazz was maybe technically 20 years old, 25 years old. Started maybe in considering in New Orleans or down south. The jazz was spelled J-A-S-S, the jazz, and so it was relatively new. But they had compiled such a array of artists to show up at this Carnegie Hall concert, and I'm going to go over it with you. This is just volume 1, but this record swings. And even with primitive recording, the primitive recording methods back in 1938, 37, this record is really, really good. And I'm lucky to have an original on the green Columbia label. I'll just show that real fast. And there you have that. And this record's VG Plus. And I did a short where I did a little short video where I cleaned it. And I see that label. And just a quick to go over who's on this record. Like I said, it's a who's who. And you have Benny Goodman on clarinet, Arthur Rowland on tenor sax, Harry James, Count Basie, people from Count Basie's band, Harry Carey, Lionel Hampton, Bobby Hackett, Lester Young, Johnny Hodges, Buck Clayton, Gene Krupa, just to mention a few, and really extensive liner notes. And this record came out in 1950. It's been improved digitally and sonically with some of the later pressings. I think I have those, but I just pulled out the OG for now. Okay, next up is a record that really swings, and I'm lucky to have this one. This is on Verve. Count Basie swings, Joe Williams sings, and this has Every Day I Have the Blues on it, which was a big hit. And, I believe this record came out in 59, 58, 59. Count Basie only had a band for only 20 years at that point. Like I said, he was with other folks. He played with other folks. He got his own band around 1936. And we call him Count Basie because they were doing a live broadcast once, and one of the announcers said over the air, he goes, we have Duke Ellington, we have the King of Swing, who I think is Benny Goodman, so we're going to call you the Count Basie. And that's how Count Basie got the name, the Count, because he said, in jazz we have royalty, and you are royalty, so you are hereby the Count Basie. And Count laughed it off, and it stuck, and forever shall it be known as Count Basie. Now, there you have it. This is a Verve. This isn't an original. This is a reissue on Verve. It was originally on Clef label, but this sounds good. I just cleaned this on a video today. I posted that video, and this album does have hairlines on it, but it sounds damn good. Probably because it's a mono record. But Joe Williams, if you don't know Joe Williams, he has a great baritone, I believe it is, strong voice, so strong and so cool, and he is so cool. Just check him out here. Look at that suit. And he swings, man, he swings. And when you get this thing going on with the snapping of the fingers and that tension between the call and response, you move, it swings like a swing, like a pendulum. That's where we get swing. Now, the king of swing for me is this guy here, Satchmo. Louis Armstrong. Pops. This is a reissue of Satchmo Plays King Oliver that I just got from Audio Analog Productions, Quality Records. This thing rocks. I recommend this to anybody who wants to hear Louis sing and Louis play and blow. And King Oliver was his mentor. He was with King Oliver's band when he was 18, 20 years old. And he loved King Oliver, man. He really adored King Oliver. So he played tunes here that are not only King Oliver tunes, but things from the era. King Oliver didn't necessarily write these tunes. But if you want to hear one record, it's St. James Infirmary. You got to get that. And then None of My Jelly Roll, I Ain't Got No Body, which is famous with Louis Prima as well. So here's the OG on Audio Fidelity label. This was when it was a audiophile label. So that's the original. This is VG Plus. But this new one, just as far as pure sound, no, nothing to distract it. Don't get me wrong, this sounds great. Very close in sound. Audio Analog Productions just redid it. They didn't change it. They didn't remaster it per se as far as the sound goes. Although I can't pick it up on my system. But this is a swinging record. This, I believe, is from 59, I'm thinking. 1959. So next up is another Louis, but this is Louis and the Duke. So we have Louis and the Duke, and this is recording together for the first time. This is a repro. This was on Roulette. This record swings, And this is with Duke Ellington's band. Duke Ellington, I mean, this is with Louis Armstrong's band. Duke Ellington just came in, played the session 2 days in New York City. Here's a repro of the Roulette, the original Roulette label. But this record has Duke's Place, I'm Just a Lucky So-and-So, which is one of the best jazz vocals you'll ever hear. Black and Tan Fantasy, Do Nothing Till You Hear From Me, and we have a beautiful gatefold, really nice quality. This is a 33. So this is Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington recording together for the first time. Then we have a second record that came from the same sessions called The Great Reunion. And this record swings. I like the material better on this record. Here's an original Roulette. And this record sounds so good. They are in the room. Louis is in the room. The clarinet, Barney, I believe his first name is, was with Duke Ellington's band. So he knew all these songs. These were Duke Ellington tunes for the most part. But Louis knew them all too. And they would sit down, and there's great liner notes that give you a little fly on the wall insight into what goes on in these really quick sessions. No baffles. Louis is in the middle of the room. The band's around. Duke's at the piano. Unbelievable. Here's the original Inner. This still has a shrink on it, by the way. 99 cents. And I've been playing this record to show off my system for 20 years, and at least on 5 occasions when I played it for my friends who are into sound and records and audiophile quality, they bought this record from eBay. So if you get a chance to look for it, and if you are interested, it's also on the EMIS label, and this sounds just as good. It's probably the same plate, the same metal parts, but this record sounds really good. It's neck and neck. And of course, I believe Analog Productions reissued this as well. So either way, stream this on YouTube or however you stream your things you're going to test out, and check it out. You're going to love it. They swing, man. Louis is sitting there on a stool. The band is around him. There's photos in there. I just wish it was videotaped or filmed at that point so we could see these masters in action, because they are so cool. Here we have an historic musical first. That's Count Basie with Frank Sinatra. Frank had always wanted to be backed by Count Basie. On this liner note, he says, I waited 20 years for this moment. This, I believe, is 62 or around there. But this really swings. You have Pennies from Heaven, I Only Have Eyes for You, Learning the Blues, Looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. These are all standards. So this was October 2nd, 1962. The coupling began. Sinatra's comment on the session said, I waited 20 years for this moment. And it's with Count Basie's orchestra. So, and of course, he later on did that live record at the Sands with Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones also arranged this one. This is the sequel to that record. A Meeting of Giants. Frank Sinatra, backed by Count Basie Band, arranged and conducted by Quincy Jones. This is just an amazing record. Here you have the tricolor reprise. This has Fly Me to the Moon. The Good Life, which is a standard of Tony Bennett's repertoire, but Frank does it here with Count. And it's like Duke. They just play enough. They just know how to do it. It swings, man. You have that rhythmic give and go. Frank is swinging at the mic. When he's swinging, the band steps back. When he's not singing, you get a little bit more of the front. You get a little bit more. You get that piano come up. Just well engineered. These records can't be beat. Next up we have is from '67, and I just got this record, and it got me on to doing some listening to my jazz collection. And this is Delightful Lee Morgan on Blue Note. Delightful Lee Morgan, the great trumpet player. Man, this guy could swing. Here's the original Liberty. This is a Blue Note Liberty. This record, even though it's from '67, it sounds great. It's excellent. There's the back. But he rocks on this. And it's a who's who of who's on this as far as jazz giants as we know them today. Joe Henderson, McCoy Tyner, Ernie Royal, Wayne Shorter, McCoy Tyner again, Phil Woods, Philly Joe Jones, Billy Higgins on drums, Bob Cranshaw on bass, Danny Bank, baritone sax. So this has everybody on it. This is a Blue Note stereo. I prefer some of the stereos because it gives you that open sound stage where the monos are more punchier and they're more direct, but you get in that wall, and if they're done right, there's no hole. This is a Rudy Van Gelder, and this Rudy Van Gelder, he did a pretty good job on the piano as far as I'm concerned. McCoy Tyner's piano. Some of the hits on Rudy is that the piano may sound a little off, not realistic, but this one just rocks, man. Don't have a mono copy, but if you do, let me know what you think. Here's the Blue Note label. So if you want to swing, here's 8 records basically, all recorded within that period of time, 60s, except for the one that was from 38, and that was released in 50. So remember, you're going to swing. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. So hope you like this. Pick up some of these albums. Listen to them. You're going to love them. There's nothing like them, especially the Lewis and Duke, the Sinatra and Basie, the Basie and what's his name? Joe, Basie and Joe Williams. And Basie's name was Bill Basie or William Basie. So the Count, the Duke, Lewis, the boss, the chairman of the board, the king of swing, they all swing, man. So hope you like this segment. Thanks a lot for all the subs and all the likes and comments. So keep rocking, and we'll see you soon. Ciao.